When we think about the psychological forces that shape our lives, we often consider motivation, confidence, and purpose. But lurking quietly beneath these concepts is a feeling nearly everyone experiences at some point: inferiority. Maybe you notice it when you're scrolling social media, seeing highlight reels of other people's achievements. Or perhaps it arises in the workplace, sitting in a meeting, doubting whether your ideas are as valid as your colleagues. It can show up in relationships, in creative pursuits, or even in the silent moments when you compare who you are with who you hope to become. For many, this feeling is unwelcome, a shadowy presence we try to ignore. But what if, instead of dismissing it, we explored it? What if we could understand and even use those moments of self-doubt as stepping stones to a richer, more meaningful life? This is exactly what Alfred Adler, one of psychology's early pioneers, proposed over a century ago. Born in Vienna in 1870, Adler was one of the first to move away from the deterministic ideas of his famous contemporary, Sigmund Freud. Where Freud focused on the unconscious mind, suppressed traumas, and the sway of the past, Adler looked forward. He was more interested in how people could shape their future, guided by their own goals and their desire for connection and contribution. He called his approach individual psychology, and at its heart was a radical perspective. Every one of us contends with feelings of inferiority, but these feelings can be the very source of our growth and strength. To really understand this, let's break down Adler's theory of the inferiority complex. Imagine growing up always feeling one step behind. A younger sibling, perhaps, overshadowed by an older brother or sister. Or maybe it's academic struggles, watching others achieve effortlessly while you push twice as hard for half the acknowledgement. Adler believed this sense of being less than rooted itself in early childhood, fueled by the instinct to compare ourselves to those around us. It's not just family, school, community, and eventually the broader world all provide endless mirrors. Each comparison is an invitation to question, am I good enough? For some, this questioning can become a persistent ache, a belief that no matter how hard you try, you'll never measure up. This is what Adler called the inferiority complex. Unlike previous thinkers, however, he didn't see this as a mere weakness or a pathology to be fixed. Instead, he saw it as a universal experience and, crucially, a catalyst for personal development. In fact, he argued the whole reason we strive to improve ourselves, to accomplish, to connect, is because we feel that gap between where we are and where we want to be. Adler called this urge striving for superiority. It's important to clarify, in Adler's terms, superiority isn't about dominating others or being the best in a narrow sense. It's about fulfilling your own potential, moving toward your unique goals, and becoming the best version of yourself. Consider a story like that of Oprah Winfrey. Born into poverty, marked by a difficult childhood, she felt the sting of inferiority on many fronts. Economically, socially, and even within her own family. Yet that very sense propelled her forward. Each challenge became an impetus to learn, to risk, to connect with others at a deeper, more authentic level. For Adler, this was the gold hidden within the dark ore of self-doubt. But there is a shadow side. In some, inferiority can produce the opposite effect. Instead of motivating us to grow, it can paralyze us with doubts, or we might protect ourselves by developing a superiority complex, where we try to hide our feelings of inadequacy behind bluster, arrogance, or putting others down. That flashy person at the party who never stops talking about their achievements? Adler would say, look behind the mask. Often it's someone wrestling, perhaps unconsciously, with their own doubts and insecurities. So how do we harness this force productively, as Adler suggests? It starts first with reframing. Whenever you notice the old familiar story, I'm not smart enough, not successful enough, not whatever enough, pause and ask instead, What is this feeling telling me about what I value? Where does it point me toward growth? That moment of discomfort isn't a condemnation. It's a signal. Maybe it means you care about that area more than you realized. Maybe it's inviting you to build new skills or seek new connections. A great practical exercise comes straight from Adler's emphasis on action and growth. Identify one area in which you feel inferior. Instead of hiding from it, write it down. Get specific. Is it public speaking? Creative writing? Building relationships? Now, instead of focusing on how far you have to go, break it into tiny, achievable steps. If you want to get better at public speaking, start by speaking up once in a meeting or joining a small discussion group. If you aspire to write, commit to jotting down a paragraph a day. The key insight from Adler is that progress, not perfection, is the antidote to inferiority. Each time you act, however small, you signal to yourself, I am moving forward. Adler's next profound contribution is the concept of social interest. He believed that true psychological health and real fulfillment come from contributing to others, whether that's within family, friendship circles, or broader society. The paradox is, when we're feeling inadequate, our instinct is to withdraw. Yet it's often through connection and serving others that we transcend our own preoccupations. Think back to a time when you helped a friend or collaborated on a project. Often the shared purpose and teamwork dissolve the barriers of self-doubt, and you find yourself operating with a sense of agency and ease. To put this into practice, try to find one small way to engage with others every week. Mentor someone who's newer than you in your field. Share your knowledge or simply listen deeply to someone who's struggling. These acts, while seemingly modest, build a bridge. From focusing endlessly on our own perceived shortcomings to seeing ourselves as part of a larger human story. Next, Adler introduced the concept of fictional finalism, the idea that we all carry a vision of who we ultimately wish to become, a sort of personal myth that shapes our choices. If you pause and reflect, what's your guiding fiction? Are you aiming to be a creative force, a leader, a nurturing parent, or a connector of people? Instead of letting moments of inferiority drag you down, measure every small action against your vision. Ask yourself, does this move me a little closer to the person I hope to become? If you dream of being a leader, perhaps take on a small responsibility or volunteer to run a meeting. Aligning action with aspiration, even in tiny increments, strengthens both confidence and clarity. Obstacles, setbacks, rejections, failures are inevitable. But Adler would urge us to see them not as confirmation of our inadequacy, but as vital information, redirecting us toward new solutions or unimagined paths. Let's say you don't get the job you wanted or don't land that big opportunity. The sting is real, but the deeper question is, what can I learn here? How might this setback point me toward hidden potential or a future opportunity? Each challenge, when engaged with, builds not only resilience but also new skills and perspectives. Underlying all these ideas is Adler's concept of lifestyle. Each of us, shaped by our early experiences and beliefs, develops a characteristic way of facing life's challenges. Do we tend to avoid risks, overcompensate, or move forward with balanced confidence? Becoming aware of your own tendencies can be enlightening. Journaling about a recent episode of self-doubt, what triggered it, how you responded, and what alternative response might align better with your goals and values, is a powerful exercise. Over time, this awareness helps shift automatic reactions, granting you greater freedom in how you respond to life's inevitable hurdles. To bring it all full circle, Adler's approach to inferiority offers a liberating message. Self-doubt is not a fixed state or a curse to be eradicated. It's a signpost, pointing toward your evolving edges. Use it to clarify your goals, to seek connection, to contribute, and to strive toward the person you wish to become. The next time you feel that familiar ache of not enough, take it as an invitation. Reframe the story, reach out to others, take small but consistent steps, And remember, you are always an active creator of your own life. Every act of growth, however humble, is victory over the old voice of inferiority. Challenge yourself today. Pick one area you've been avoiding due to self-doubt. Decide on one simple, concrete step you can take. Reach out, act, reflect. Each of these small acts builds confidence, community, and a sense of purpose. This journey toward superiority, toward becoming your fullest self, is not about competition with others, but about fulfilling your own unique potential, hand in hand with those around you. Thank you for spending this time exploring the world of Alfred Adler and the transformative power of the inferiority complex. May these insights inspire you to see your struggles as opportunities and your doubts as seeds of growth and connection.